there is some pattern that's happening cosmologically right now that most of the charts people are seeing has Saturn in the fifth. Something about the fifth house.
And one more thing I noticed, Sai, one more thing I noticed is off late, the admissions that are happening in the academy, the kids are between 5 to 7 and almost most of them are having this autism syndrome. I don't know why.
Oh.
Yeah. Need to check that.
Hello, Guruji.
Hello.
Gurubhyo Namah, Guruji.
Namaste, Guruji.
Am I audible?
Namaste, sir.
Yes. Namaste to everyone. Can you hear me?
Very much, Guruji.
Are you hearing your own voices?
No.
You're not, right? Okay. So in that case, I don't have to wear this AirPods then. Okay. So how was the discussion going? For roughly, I think 30 minutes and more, I think.
Guruji, yesterday's session was really good, Guruji. Yesterday's session, and I was having a first-hand experience of what was discussed yesterday.
Okay.
I'm very thrilled beyond words.
I see. Okay. It is situations like this that keep us glued to astrology.
Yeah, though the event was itself not a good, fortunate event, but still the linking was there, and that gave me that confidence.
See, now today we are, okay, but before we start, let's do the prayer. A short prayer of Ganesha by anyone? Wow, Krishna is here. Okay, so he'll do it.
Okay, I can do it.
Yeah.
Om Gananam Tva Ganapatam Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamasravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinvanno Dabasida Sadhanam.
Thank you. This is not a blind reading. We know something about the person already. A little bit we know something went wrong. That much we know. And might be a tough case study. Okay. So let's make some attempt at whatever comes to your mind. Can discuss it. And those of you who notice things, and as you see, you can start typing it out in the chat section.
Guruji, so the Lagna Lord has gone to the 12th in Rashi, but has moved back. So that's a good thing. And the fifth Lord.
See, before continuing Prahlad, I want to tell all of you that there is a Rasi connection. Okay. When you say Mercury in first house, that is when you read Mercury in first house from a book which is talking about houses. But where is Mercury? Mercury is in the house of Sun. And what is the law? What is the Sun rule? Which house does it rule? What does it pertain to?
12th house, sir.
It pertains to 12th house. So the question about it moving to a particular house is only when we take a book and start reading what if Mercury is in first house, what if Mercury in second bhava, third bhava, Saturn in first, Saturn in second, Saturn in third. But in all these years, how did astrologers get a lot of predictions even without the bhava chart? Was only because they saw the connections in the Rashi chart and read many things. Where they will make a mistake is if you read a book saying if Mercury is in the 12th house, what is the result? Mercury is in the 12th. But there is, in truth, there is the reality of Mercury occupying the house of Sun. And that the house of Sun, and that the Sun occupies Mercury's sign. So all this is real. Do you understand this? It's very important technique in astrology. Please be very careful. When we are always using Bhava chart, this should always be borne in mind. That Mars is exalted, and you cannot say Mars is not exalted because it shifted to Aquarius. In the Bhava chart, it is better not even to draw a chart. You can write it out separately. That Mars and Rahu are in the 6th Bhava. Saturn is in the 9th, Ketu is in the 12th, and that's all. It's just to, for the sake of, making it easy, we have drawn the chart. Otherwise, a chart is misleading because in the South Indian chart, we know that the top corner, one step down is Aquarius, but it is not really in Aquarius. Mars is in exaltation. Anyone has doubt about whatever I said? Anybody wants to debate?
Sir, one question. Not debate, sir. One question. So, like you said, the Mercury moved to first bhava, but still it will give results of the Sun's Rashi, that is Leo. So we have to read it like Mercury in Leo, what are the results, and Mercury in first house, what are the results, and then collate it, right? Is that?
No. You still have to know how to connect Mercury to the 12th house because it got a connection with the 12th house Lord.
Got it.
Got a connection.
Got it.
Okay.
So we still have to consider Mercury in 12th house results.
Not in 12th house. No. Not in 12th house. Has a connection with the 12th Lord. That's quite different from house. I got a connection with another person.
Right.
And he is the Lord of that house. Like that, we got connected. Okay.
Right.
So please understand, in case of Bhava chart, it is only with reference to the Lagna exact point. Whereas in reality, Mercury is in Leo and Sun is in Kanya.
Got it.
And
sir,
Mercury is connected to the 12th.
Right.
Yeah. Now what we'll do, we'll give chance to others. If in anybody, in this class of how many we have right now, 22 out of a possible 38. Anybody has not understood it, please don't feel shy. Be bold enough to say, no, I somehow don't understand this. Anyone else?
I had a follow-up question, Guruji, related to the same concept. So I think then this is Bhadra Yoga is not applicable because Mercury is not.
Bhadra Yoga is not applicable because Mercury is never in Kanya.
In Kanya, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Guruji, to explain this to to fellow astrologers, so how do you say does Bhava? I know from reading point I got the clarity, but the question is does Bhava override Rashi or it does not override? How do you explain?
It's not that overriding. It is just that if you're reading a book in which the explanation is given for a planet being in a particular house and not Rashi, you have to read Mercury in first house from that book.
So we'll still read it as 10th Lord in first house, sir?
You have to read it as 10th Lord in first house. Yes.
Thank you.
But if you ask, is there a connection between the first Lord and Sun, you have to accept that there is a connection. There is a relationship.
Maybe I missed
Guys.
So what are you trying to do, Guruji? We have no assumption on how old this person is, whether it's male, female.
First of all, it is a male. It's a male. Okay.
Guruji, oh my God. I'm going to take it out. Don't say these things. Guruji, one thing. So this, for example, when the Sun Dasha happens for the person, Sun Mahadasha, Antar Dasha, the Mercury will also get activated. And you will also see the Mercury's results playing out. We are saying it. And maybe vice versa. When Mercury is activated, the Sun will also get, the 12th house can also get activated. And again, not going into the age of the person and all that, we can see that his 2nd house and 9th house is severely afflicted. 9th house has Saturn. And this means it's very bad for family and father. And as well as the UL Lord is getting destroyed and debilitated by Sun and being in the thing. So not even the marriage is now a problem. Mars and Rahu being in the 6th house, definitely there'll be a lot of problems with debts. And Mars can give results like body pain, getting beaten up. But it's a good placement for Mars, so it won't be too bad. But definitely there'll be some downsides. And Mars not being so good for the Lagna, so debts problem and all those Mars effect will be there. And also problem with blood.
Okay, we will divide the class. Some of you go through lots of houses in different houses, start working on it, and some work on Brigu Sutra. If planet is in this house, then this result, and so on, like that. So start referring some text, and
Yes,
some others can start looking around to see if something is showing up from a different perspective, that it's not about whatever we said so far, but it is something else I saw in the chart. So let's divide and rule, split the class into 2-3 sections. Those of you are having that Excel sheet with you, lot of Lagna in 1st house, lot of 2nd in whatever houses, that one, and what else?
And
planets in
This person is very, so is this person very well to do and very well positioned? Because 9th Lord in 1st house, 10th Lord in 1st house, 9th and 10th are both conjunct in 1st house. Is he an actor or some sort of a sports person or someone, sir?
What is the basis? What is the basis? No, 1 minute, Prahlad. When somebody is talking, when somebody is talking, let's allow them to finish completely, and then the other student, let him begin to talk. So please give some time for the student right now. So what is the basis for why is he an actor?
Sir, because the 3rd Lord has gone into the 5th house. I'm seeing a 3rd and 5th connection. So 3rd is also, I've read also that could be taken for dramatics. 5th is creativity. So I'm assuming because of that, possibly.
Okay.
Sir, I have one thing I'd like to make one point, sir.
Yes.
So I noticed based on reading BPHS and Brigu Sutram, I noticed a pattern where 10th Lord in 1st house is repeating in D1 and D10. And also Mercury connection is also there in D1 and D10 in the Lagna, in Lagna or 10th house. So reading 10th Lord in 1st house from BPHS and Mercury in 1st house from Brigu Sutram, I would like to say that is this person very well educated and scholarly?
No.
Guruji, does the person spend a lot in hospitals? The reason being Mars is looking at the 12th house.
What is the reason for that?
Mars is looking at the 12th house, Ketu in the 12th house, and the 12th Lord in Lagna connection.
12th Lord in Lagna. Okay. The hospital is sitting in 1st.
And also the 9th Lord is, I think the ma'am said one interesting point, but 9th Lord is debilitated. So that's a negative point for the overall chart. And Saturn in Taurus is also never good. We have seen in certain charts. So Saturn in 9th is bad. And the Saturn's Lord is also bad. So definitely health wise.
Okay. Saturn occupies the 9th. Saturn occupies the 9th. And then Lord of the 9th sits in debilitation. So that's your point.
And sir, to add to this, Saturn is debilitated in the Vancha. And also, there is an exchange between 12th house and first house, Rashi Parvartan. Mercury is sitting in Suns and Sun is sitting in Mercury.
So what did you conclude?
Oh, health problems.
Okay, this is how you do it. After making some noting down an astrological pattern or a combination, you should end with a statement. Even if it is wrong, just don't bother. Okay, so Sai Prahalad is right. A lot of money was spent in the hospital. And health problem, who said that? Was it Rahul?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Rahul Sharma. Okay.
I agree with him, sir, because Jupiter in third house is also Maraka, Maranasthana. And also, like for a Varga ascendants, Jupiter is another Maraka, which is 7th house lord.
Guruji, you've seen Jupiter giving the results of cancer when it's in the third house. And
okay, the person died of cancer.
So Guruji, I had a request.
If you finish a horoscope reading so fast, then I don't have another chart for today.
Yes, Guruji, that's what I was going to request. That can we go a little slower and more in sequence? Like when you say lot, like, you know, preferred sequence, okay, lordship and then placement or a particular house that we are focusing on. That would be great. It goes very fast for me.
Okay.
Guruji, can we get the chart? Can we get the chart? Can we get the chart half an hour before so that even beginners can take a good look at it?
Guruji, the way I broke down the chart is basically I looked at the Lagna Lord. And that was one thing. Then I looked at the 5th house. Then I looked at the 9th house. And then I looked at the true placement of Mars. And I've noticed this pattern. Whenever Mars is looking at the 12th house, the person ends up spending a lot in hospitals or has a tendency to. So they have to donate a lot to compensate it. If not, it will be in a bad way.
Where should they donate?
They can donate blood. They can donate.
No, where should they donate? In the hospital itself, they have to donate, or blood they will have to donate?
Both.
They have to donate blood, sir, or both.
Suppose there was no problem at all. What would you say for a Kanya Lagna person? What will be the topmost donation? Without any problem. General predictions. General
Blood
reading.
donation, sir.
Anything related to Mars, sir.
Blood
Mars.
donation, sir.
Why anything related to Mars over every other graha? Anybody wants
because,
to?
Because it's a third lord and 8th lord. Couple.
Can you say something more about it?
Both are health houses.
Health. Longevity houses.
Longevity.
In terms of functional malefic, which planet tops the list for Kanya Lagna?
Mars.
Because
Mercury?
Mercury is Mars.
Mercury is Lagna Lord, sir.
Okay.
I was saying Mercury's natural enemy is Mars.
Oh, Mercury's natural enemy is Mars. Mercury does not look at Mars as enemy, but Mars looks at Mercury as enemy.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the easy way to remember this is Mercury is green and Mars is red. And even in traffic signals, they fight with each other. That's all. Okay. And so you can easily understand why the Maharshi has graded the grahas into top, number 1, number 2, number 3, like that, even amongst good planets and bad planets. In the beginners class, we did go through this, right? Somewhere around 6th or 7th class session. We went through the logics, we showed the text and everything. Okay, very nice. So you would recommend people to donate blood, or maybe because you see, you can develop upon that. Can this person wear red coral?
No, Guruji, they should not wear red coral. And can they also donate pomegranate instead of blood if they can't donate blood?
Yeah, anything red, whatever comes in the hands. But depending upon what they're going through, you'll have to relate it as much as possible. Okay.
They can wear only diamond and based off of Lagna Lord placement, they can wear emerald, sir.
Okay, which one would be the most needed gem?
Diamond, sir.
Yeah, diamond, sir.
Diamond.
Huh?
Definitely diamond, sir.
Diamond, sir.
Diamond.
Why?
Mars is debilitated.
Because
Because Mars
it's
is
ninth lord.
functional benefic and it's debilitated.
No. Venus. Venus, you mean?
Ninth lord, and it is debilitated, and it needs
Yeah, sorry, Venus.
strength,
Venus.
sir.
So in the order of gems, how will your approach be? What will you give as the most urgently needed gem? Number one required, compulsory.
Diamond, sir.
Diamond.
Over
Diamond.
Mercury, is it? Okay.
And then
Even Mercury.
emerald also, sir.
And emerald also to strengthen the Lagna Lord.
I think it is emerald only, not diamond, because it is debilitated. He's already in an angry mood. You don't want to. I don't know how the gemstones things work, but I think if it's debilitated, you don't wear it.
How many of you feel if it is debilitated, you won't wear it, and if it is exalted, you will wear it?
It is needed, sir.
Huh?
Yeah,
Depends on functional benefic or
It is
malefic.
needed, sir. It doesn't
Depends
matter.
on benefic and malefic, yeah, not debilitated or exalted, yeah.
But I think it depends upon what the person is going through, right? We have to recommend that stone. So based on that, like if it's a health problem, right? Probably emerald is recommended.
Emerald, yeah, because you are strengthening the ascendant rather than your fortune or something. Yeah.
See, fortune is needed for everything, right? Even if you want to escape from cancer or anything, and that is also the biggest number when Guruji in the beginner class when he writes it, right? So 1, 5, 9 are 3 important houses, and especially 5 and 9. So if the 5th is affected, then we have to wear the 5th house gem. If the 9 is affected, then the 9th house gem. And Lagna gem is also okay. So here, since the 9th lord is getting a severe affliction, debilitation and everything, the 9th lord has to be supported. But
He
will
has to be
karma
supported,
allow?
but emerald takes precedence because it's just like, you can't depend upon luck without preparing for exams. So first you have to strengthen your body, your lagna, and then probably if you put diamond, right? So it comes but the order of precedence is emerald and then diamond. That's what I think.
I agree.
But actually, Mercury also, will it have Kendra Adipati dosha or not? Because it's not in Virgo, but it's the lord of the 1st and lord of the 10th. So which is why I feel like maybe emerald, it's still really good, but may not be the number one.
And Guruji, one more thing. For Mars, can they donate land? Land for a ashram, hospital, if they're wealthy.
It's very difficult to say which one is more important, whether it is emerald or diamond. Both are good. But if you look at the context, we need luck maximum in everything because luck is something else. When mistakes happen and you go in one route, it's just that in a matter of seconds, an event happen. And if you had only delayed the trip by 1-2 seconds, an accident will not happen. The same event won't happen. So there is a lot to do with luck. The luckiest graha for this person is Venus. And Venus is debilitated. Venus is begging for strengthening. Please give me strength. I become very weak.
Yep, and Shadbala is weak for Venus, sir. Below
No,
100.
even without Shadbala, if it is debilitated, it is weak. But in Shadbala, it is weak. It is confirmed weak, even more weak. And so it says, please give me help. Strengthen me. So if something is helping your body and you don't have it, you need to get it and put it into your body.
So Guruji, can you, because in many videos you've also said debilitation means being angry. Can you please clarify if it is angry, the planet is angry or
no,
it is...
when you say angry, the word angry is used if it is in Vimshopaka, very low. Even then, It is angry because of its weakness. So who is angry for what is important? Your friend can be angry, right?
Yeah.
Your enemy can be angry. If a friend is angry, what should you do? He's angry because he's hungry. He needs something. He needs help.
So if it's a benefic for your ascendant and it's debilitated, then you can strengthen it. But if
not you can strengthen it, you have to strengthen it.
Okay. But if it's a malefic,
if you strengthen it, the problem will double.
Sir, I have a question. Sir, because Mercury has gone into the 12th house, it is first lord in 12th house, no doubt. But in the Bhava chart, will it not be considered as a Venus-Mercury conjunction, sir, and therefore a debilitation cancellation?
No. It never came close to Venus at all. So this is the problem. No conjunctions are to be read from Bhava chart.
Okay, sir.
Conjunctions are mostly based on degrees.
Yeah, and that is between themselves. No, I'll tell you the easy way out. A Bhava chart or a Chalit chart is based on Lagna degree. It has got nothing to do with planets. It is Lagna versus one planet, Lagna versus another planet, Lagna versus one more planet. That's all. There is nothing between planets. Between planets, everything is only Rashi chart.
Noted, sir.
Correct.
See, just imagine you don't know the time of birth. There is a chart, right? Without time of birth. You don't know the time of birth. Somebody was born on that day. We know somewhere it should be here only, here Lagna or there Lagna. We do not know. So all the conjunctions can still be true only. All the aspects, everything will be same. The Bhava chart cannot be constructed because you don't have a Lagna degree. So when you say Bhava chart, it is only an angular distance between the exact Lagna degree and the planet concerned. It will no way connect to between planets. Is this understood by everyone? Please raise your hand to say I've understood. Okay. Good.
Noted, sir. Sir, but this person must have had a very unique professional destiny. 9th, 10th, 11th Lord, 10th Lord, 9th Lord, no doubt, debilitated and even combust, all in Lagna. It's a very interesting professional destiny.
Okay, let's not mislead all of you so much. The person died very young.
So, Guruji, I had a question about Lord of the 12th in one when we are talking about his disease, and I know he died young, you mentioned. So if BPHS says that this native will suffer from phlegmatic disorders. So now how do we override that and come to the conclusion that it was cancer?
One of the top combinations for cancer, don't scare everybody with it. This is my own research over the years.
You mentioned, sir, Jupiter in 3rd house.
One of them is Jupiter in 3rd house. I think most of my students who have stayed with me for many sessions, they know this because I even narrated a story where many astrologers teamed up together and they were conducting discussions like this. They're all professionals. And they casually invited me and then showed me a chart and said, can you say what is the disease indicated in this chart? I didn't spend even 1 second. I just said cancer. And they were shocked. The reason is that the person is one of the astrologers and he had cancer 3 times. And they asked me, how did you say that? Then I said, Jupiter in the 3rd, that's all. And everybody in Jupiter in the 3rd, will they get it? So I found out another pattern for cancer is whenever the 6 and 8 gets connected in any format, 6 and 8, it is one of the top combinations for cancer. Okay. But this is not the main point. It's not about cancer. Okay. So one thing with astrology is now I know Jupiter in the 3rd is like this. Then you always say to everybody, no, it's not so simple as that. There will be so many other reasons. And that is precisely why we are doing all these exercises.
Sir, which cancer, sir?
Stack up, sir. Stack up.
Which type of cancer, sir?
We'll wait.
Sir, something.
We'll wait for some more.
Something related to abdominal
stomach
area, stomach area.
After saying that, you say, this is why I said stomach area. And even if it is wrong, don't bother.
It's because of Jupiter, sir. Again, like it represents abdominal portion of the body.
Mass.
And sir, for this specific ascendant, is this like double Maraka? Jupiter in third house, this particular ascendant, sir, like Virgo ascendants, because being a seventh lord.
Okay. Well, you're trying to say something. Can you complete it?
Yeah, seventh lord in third house, and especially like Jupiter in especially like third house is Marana Sthana. That is why I'm saying it is double Maraka.
So Jupiter has a separate problem that it is also MKS, right? Marana Karaka Sthana.
Right.
Okay.
So Guruji, can I be a devil's advocate?
Yes, please.
So if I want to go by BPHS, Lord of the fourth in third.
No, I think you are the one who told about phlegmatic diseases, right?
Yes, that was Lord of the 12th in the first house. Now, if we are focusing on Jupiter right now, so if I go by Lord,
but who is the Lord of the 12th in the first?
Sun, sir.
Sun.
Do we have doctor amongst us? Any doctor, Ayurvedic doctor? Soumya? No, Soumya, not this Soumya, right?
Dr. Soumya is not here. Yeah.
He's not there. Okay. Easy way to figure out what is Kapha, Pitta, and Vata. Anybody wants to help? What is what could be Kapha? What generally might be Kapha?
Water.
Watery.
Okay, watery, and you're very close. So what could that be?
Phlegm.
Yeah, phlegm is one. Phlegm is already there. That's why we say phlegmatic, right?
Water plus earth, Guruji, I think.
Cold, sir. Cold.
No, we are saying if you have, do you know what our phlegm does?
Affects the lungs.
Then we need to clear it up, is it? All the phlegm we have to remove. You think?
Yeah. Is he died of cystic fibrosis?
No. So the first point that we understand is all the phlegm that is there in our body, we need it absolutely. We need the Pitta, we need the Vata, we need all the three. Only when there is imbalance, it is called a disease in Ayurveda. So when you say phlegmatic, it will have the nature of viscous and viscosity. It will be like a thick something. What can you think of when you say something like that?
Bile or something? No.
Yeah, could be bile because Jupiter is bile related, but there is a kind of a fluid in our body. Anybody knows what that is? Which has a remarkable function. So whenever you read the phlegmatic diseases, please remember that it is all those like enzymes, like something which is secreting, and that is not Vata. It will be,
sir.
Huh? What did he say?
Pancreas, pancreatic related.
Yeah, maybe anything to do with whatever the gland produces. Okay.
Thyroid. Third.
Yeah, maybe all the glands may be all put together.
So this disease will fall under phlegmatic, Guruji? This disease this person had?
It is connected to what we might in Ayurveda, relate to phlegm.
Okay.
Can you look at, can somebody spot something about Mars and Rahu? So far, nobody said anything.
Mars is afflicted, sir.
Mars is on Rahu Ketu axis.
Sir, it's called Angarak Dosh, Mars Rahu combination in the books.
Yeah, Saturn is aspecting it. Oh,
Exact degree, sir.
Huh?
Exact degree, almost 1 degree conjunction.
Yeah.
Almost tight conjunction. That nobody said so far. So,
No, sir, I mentioned it, sir, earlier.
What did he say?
Being like third lord and eighth lord, functional, malefic to this particular ascendant, like it's in the Dustana, again, like it is afflicted.
No, not that. I say, now the point is Mars and Rahu are so close to each other. Tight. Rahu Ketu always deals with something so strongly connected to our past life because all retrograde planets have more to do with our past lives. All retrograde planets have more karma packed in them. That is the reason why Rahu Ketu is kind of a hero in astrology. We say so many things so accurately using Rahu. Okay, given this background, can some of you pick up some arguments connected to Mars and Rahu and Ketu?
Sir, Mars and Rahu both are in Moon's nakshatra. Shravana.
Are in?
Shravana nakshatra. Moons.
Shravana, okay.
And there are 4 planets in Moon's nakshatra: Shani, Rahu, Venus, Mars, and then ascendant is in Sun's nakshatra, so 12th Lord nakshatra, and 12th Lord is sitting in first house in its own nakshatra. So there is Moon and Sun a lot of planets in Moon and Sun nakshatra. Moon and Sun represents parents. So there could be some curse because both are afflicted. There could be something related to the parents that caused. And it's Amavasya. Birth is of Amavasya, right? Sun and Moon are in.
No, it is not Amavasya. Moon already 20 degrees past Sun.
But still, it's in the Lagna, right? So close to the Amavasya. Yeah, it's close to the Amavasya. So there is something related to the parents that caused this child issues. That's what it looks like.
Sir, the connection that you mentioned, sir, like any connection between 6th Lord and 8th Lord leads to Cancer. Again, Mars, Rahu also leads to 6th house here, co-ruler of 6th house.
Mars is the co-ruler of 6th house is a wonderful point.
Okay. I mean, Rahu.
Sorry, Rahu. Rahu is the co-ruler of the 6th house, Rogasthana. Very good.
Sir, BP says 8th Lord in 6th house, and here closely conjunct 6th co-lord. The native will be afflicted by diseases during the childhood and will incur danger through snakes and water.
Beautiful. Can you say, using common sense, what could be snakes in the context of today?
Maybe poison, sir. Some type of poison.
Food poison.
Very good. Poison.
Alcohol.
Guruji, was there a blood poison for this person? Because as somebody pointed out, Mars and Rahu are in Moon's nakshatra, so Moon also represents blood. So is there any blood-related problem?
Yeah, blood poisoning happened.
The blood cancer?
No, it's not blood cancer, but the blood was infected, which later led to the cancer itself.
It's blood cancer, sir.
So Sai Prahlad is in top form today. Okay.
It's not blood cancer, sir.
No, it's not.
Guruji, Harni was the one who said blood.
Yeah. So no. The point is, as much as we know astrology, see, we are in case of reading a chart, we could go in any tangent because God knows at that point in time in which direction we are going. Like some of the students started talking about this person's future and all that. Some of you spoke about Upapada Lagna or this or that. But normally, we'll have to go very slow in astrology. We'll have to wait and look at the chart and then slowly get into it. If we go straight away into certain things, we may make mistakes. And once we go into a tangent, it's so difficult to get back because you keep thinking in different ways. So many things. So you'll have to be as slow at the beginning alone. You have to spend some time and say, I see Mars and Rahu together.
And Mars is aspecting first house, 78%.
Mars is aspecting first house. Okay.
Not only first house, but Mercury also, sir, with 98%. It's Lagna Lord. Both Lagna and Lagna Lord, Mars is aspecting.
Very good. Very good. Mars is aspecting Mercury.
Lagna and Lagna Lord, yeah, both.
It is aspecting it, strongly, right? Because of
yes,
because Mars is at 19 degrees and Mercury is at 20 degrees. So it will be almost, perfect. That okay. What is Jupiter's 5 and 9 aspect, and what is Saturn's 3rd and 10th, and Mars 4th and 8th? Do you know what is the big difference in that?
The Jupiter's aspect are more blessing, more like a blessing.
Yeah, Jupiter is blessing, and Saturn and Mars are troubling, challenging. Okay, but this logic you should not mix up with functionality of a planet. Functional malefic is looking at that alone, don't use it. You have to say whether it is good or bad planet, we don't care about that. But we know that the 3rd and 10th and Mars 4th and 8th is extremely bad. Because even Saturn might contain something good, depending upon the situation. But Mars 4th and 8th is definitely bad. Because Mars itself, if you look at Mars, the original word is Puja, born of poison. Okay?
So what if Mars is well placed in Yoga Karaka?
That is different. That's different. Oh, no. Even in that case, the aspect is treated separately when it looks at the 4th or the 8th.
So still the aspect is negative.
Yeah. It's
even what if it is on bad houses, sir? Then it is.
I'll give you a proof. When Parashara talks about Kujadosha, does he speak about functionality there? In that sloka? Does he say, no, it is for Yoga Karaka, it is a friendly planet? Nothing is discussed there. So that is the trick in reading astrology. If you want to become good astrologers, you should think about it, wait there and think, why didn't he say anything like that? Why didn't he say, even if it is in own house or exaltation, nothing of that was discussed in Kujadosha. So the problem with astrology is if you interpolate and read line, you make your own logics and then try to fit in, then it won't work at all. You need to ask, where is it stated? How many times this question has been asked? And has this been specifically mentioned? It is functional and or natural. Most of the time, it is only natural. Functions are used very minimal. Okay, you don't use it all the time. So when one of you pointed out to the fact that the 12th lord in the first is phlegmatic disease, it is something more to do with the all the phlegm thing in our body is all these secretions, which is in this case, I will tell you the answer. It is connected to the lymph glands. Okay.
Someone pointed.
That's what we wrote in the chat also, Guruji.
Very good, very good. Congratulations for those who wrote in the chat. I'm not looking at the chat. If somebody has written, please mention it. I will say congratulations. So phlegmatic disease. And what is the function of phlegm? See the phlegm in your nose, you have no idea about how much it is protecting you.
It pounds the bacteria and bad bacteria. And
yes, then it kills it. Okay, so don't think the God has given you all the whatever comes out of the nose, all that. all the phlegm in the body is very, it's a waste. That's why we shouldn't have excess, even pepper. You cannot clean it up completely. Okay. So it must be allowed to survive. The phlegm must be there also.
Sir, the boy started his dasa with Mars Rahu, sir. Even.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Who said that?
Pavni, sir.
Pavni, congratulations. Remember, in one of our classes, we did already say, watch out for the first Antardasha. If there is a Rahu or Ketu, it could be a genetic disorder. And in the beginning, somebody said this person was affected by parents. Whenever you say
Rahul,
whenever you say parents dosha, you can put in the bracket genetic also. And whenever you say curse of the parents, put it as genetic.
Right.
In a way, you can argue, right? A child can argue. Right. It is because of you I got this disease. So it is like a curse. But it is not it's not that the parents willed it to happen. It somehow was managed. It happened to be.
Past karmas of parents.
Past karma of the parents through this parent, it will come out in the form of this parents will gift it to the child in the form of this genetic disorders. So this child was born with, from the time at birth itself, genetic disorder. So, congratulations for finding the first dasha was Mars Rahu.
And Rahu is aspecting the...
Now go a little slow and then start all over again with Mars Rahu.
I will just add one thing. Rahu aspecting first house 85%.
No, you just start thinking like this. This is a chart. And we saw Mars and Rahu sticking to each other. And then we noticed that these two grahas cleverly shifted into the sixth bhava of disease. Meanwhile, this child was born with Mars directly looking with his 8th house aspect on the poor green graha Mercury, where Mercury says, I'm already in trouble because I'm in a house where I don't like. Because it is sun. Okay. See, now you may say, what is wrong with Mercury being in sun's place? It is because of the 12th house connection. It's just because of the 12th. Meanwhile, the 12th Lord, happened to slip into, or not even slip. It is already in the first house. He's already moved into the first.
Very close resonance, sir.
That's a point. Closer to the ascendant. Because 1 degree, 4 degree. The closer it is, the more accurate the result will be. Very good. Now, somebody in the beginning said, problem with parents, and that is because 9th has a malefic, Saturn. One of you read Brigusutram and say, if you see somebody with Saturn in the 9th, what are the remedies that you will give that person?
Temples.
If Saturn is in the 9th house,
dilapidated temples.
Dilapidated temples. Wait, stop there. Why would Brigu say rebuild temples? Why?
Because the past life maybe
what may have he done in the past?
Desecrated temples.
Possible bringing down temples, bringing down pace of worship, killing people while they're worshipping,
or
stopping people from worshipping.
Disrespecting the gods.
Disrespecting God, shouting at gods, actively shouting at God. Okay, stop there. Enough. Next point.
The Lord of the 9th is WJ.
No, the remedies.
Remedies.
We only finished one. There are Brigu gives 3.
Cows, sir. Shelters for cows.
Shelter for cows.
Shelters for cows.
Why? Why?
Killed a lot of cows for food.
Every day I'm seeing, on Instagram, how people are cutting with a knife, through the throat of the cow and making the cow all over, the blood is spilling. And the cow is, shouting for help. Pleasure in killing cows. You should see the man's face. He's so happy to see the cow, shuddering. So reverse that. Okay.
So how can anyone get pleasure from those things?
You must look at their face, so happy.
That's disgusting.
They look at it as a food. They don't look at it as an animal. They see it as a food. And they're hungry and they're happy they will get food.
Yeah.
I heard that
Even though if you expect food from something, I mean,
they are not. They are all these professional people in the slaughterhouse. They are not actually going to eat it. They see, you might do a job without liking it also. But when you like it and do it, you will become a sinner.
Right.
You understand?
Probably we were just being sarcastic.
Yeah. When you are in a war, you simply shoot down your enemies because that's what your army or your country wants you to do. You do it. You're not so much interested in really killing somebody. But if you get pleasure out of killing in war, even then you will be a sinner. You understand? You should do it without your intention. You should be like not anything personal about that. Like I want, but I saw in many of the Instagram videos. Nowadays, I don't watch it all because I'm not able to, digest. I usually move off the video. It's so horrible. And the main point I was always observing was the happiness in the person's, face. They're so happy. Okay, what is the other remedy for Saturn in the 9th?
bathing ghats, sir.
Bathing places.
Mm-hmm.
So some fault was done in bathing places. So you can easily understand that. Making use of poverty of people who are taking bath. They don't have a bathroom. Okay.
Constructing bathrooms, sir.
So basically, this is 9th house stuff. 9th house is goodness, godliness, and all that.
Worship Lord
Worship and all that. So that's why you see Sri Krishna with cows. So somehow, there is this golden temple in Vellore. The entire temple is gold. It will be like in a fairy tale story, type temple, like Chandamama story. So when I went first time, I told my wife it is like Chandamama. Is it really gold? I asked. They said it is real gold. And the main yogi connected to the temple, his main job is only Go Puja. All the time doing cow worship. Puja connected to cows. Okay. So, this is just for the sake of understanding why he would have given these 3 remedies. It's a huge topic. Yeah. Okay.
67,000 cows a day.
Yeah. Can we say 9th house is punya and Saturn in the 9th is not good from that point of view? But here a confirmation we got because the dispositor is debilitated. Whenever dispositor gets debilitated, that house gets weak. And before that, I want to say, suppose you don't use the Baba chart, and if you simply use Bhavam in Rashi chart, you will have the 9th from Saturn having what? How many of you feel it is logical to use 9th from the 9th? And if you say 9th from the 9th and 9th from the 9th, what do you have?
Mars Rahu.
So what does that now confirm to you?
Malefic.
Pitru doshas, 9th house affliction is completely, sealed.
In Rashi chart, you're asking.
Yeah. That's what I am telling right from the beginning. If you don't bring in Baba chart is with Lagna degree, but a chart exists separately in the Rashi itself. Okay. Yep. Another way of looking at it is like this. When you're calculating aspects.
The Mars and Rahu are in the 9th.
Tell me. What is it?
With respect to Saturn, 18 degrees, the Mars and Rahu with 18 degrees, they are in the ninth, sir, from Saturn.
Yeah, that is okay. That's another way of talking about the same. Correct. Suppose you do a Jagannatha Hora Bhava chart with Saturn as the reference point. Where will you have Mars and Rahu? Because software Jagannatha Hora allows you to do that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So it will be in the ninth. It will be ninth from the ninth. Again, malefics. Usually this Bhavat Bhavam is one of the least used rules, but packs a lot of weight. This Bhavat Bhavam. If the third has, I always repeat it, if the third has Mars and the third from the third, which is fifth house as a malefic, they won't have a younger brother or sister. How is this person's younger brother and sister? Very useful to the person or harmful to the person? Or generally brothers and sisters. See, third house is younger brother or sister, that is specific. But generally the third house is for brothers and sisters, sibling house. So third lord in the sixth house in the Bhava chart, is it good or bad?
Inimical to his
inimical towards.
Bad, sir. Sahodara dosha.
Sahodara dosha. Very good. Congratulations. Okay. See, during that illness, this person was something they did to save this child. I think something to do with they took something from the sibling, the brother or sister. I don't know exactly.
Maybe bone marrow, sir, I think.
Bone marrow. Yeah, correct. Bone marrow transplant or something. Just a minute. I think I can locate it.
For the blood, sir, for the blood.
Yeah. Okay.
For the correct type of blood to produce.
I see.
Well, yeah.
Sir, one more point to the Saturn. It's debilitated in Navansha also.
Okay, very good.
Thank you, Lord.
Additional point.
And it is the Lagna Lord of the Navamsha, sir.
No, that is not an ordinary event. That when you say, when you're reading a fault and then you find out in Navamsha it is debilitated, it is even more a problem. Okay, so please.
Sir, and also Mars and Rahu are also in sixth in Navamsha.
Mars and Rahu are sixth in Navamsha. Okay. From the Navamsha Lagna, they managed to get into the sixth once again. Correct? That's what you're saying.
And third from the Saturn. Third from the Saturn in Navamsha.
Okay. See, now, this person, as you can guess from the date, start date in the Vimshottari, was born in 1971. Houston, Texas. Okay. Died at the age of, what do you think? How long the person would have survived?
Sir, it's showing, sir.
It's already showing
1982.
Okay, so no need to break our head on that. Okay.
How did it show?
Yes,
Software shows, Guruji?
No, people notice that term that Manoj had typed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. That's not a problem. It was the death was between 1982 to 1985. The notorious Rahu Saturn.
Looking at Ardha Lagna, third from Ardha Lagna talks about the death.
For this,
and when
okay, continue.
So when you have Venus third from Ardha Lagna, it means on one side they will know that the death is coming. On the other side, it talks about urinary, kidney problems, diabetics. So again, diabetics, all this relates to blood and water. Then Moon being third from Ardha Lagna, they say the indication of death from food poisoning. And another signification is Kapha disease, Kapha disorder.
Okay, very good.
And the Sun indicates by firearms or maybe during surgery.
Okay, I will. Now we know the actual time the event happened was Rahu Dasha, Shani Antardasha. Can you recall what is the stance of Maharishi Parashara with regard to Saturn? Does he say it is a good planet or a bad planet? And what is the confusion?
Neutral,
Did he say it is neutral? Did he say it is neutral?
Saturn and more
It depends on the placement, sir.
depends
Saturn is
on
a
the placement.
Rahu and Saturn are both natural marakas.
But one thing, Saturn also the lord of your age. It is a Kala. So if Saturn can also give you long age, it depends on the placement.
Saturn second in Rohini is very bad, as well as it's from Kalapurusha second house, again very bad. Saturn's placement and dignity is it's down the drain.
The most interesting aspect of this horoscope is that life started in Mars Rahu. Okay, that's a most important point. With just that alone, can any one of you sum up just something about Mars Rahu? Life commencement.
Guruji, from AL perspective, Mars Rahu will be the most challenging for the native. Because whatever is 7th from AL is where the challenge will be.
Okay.
So can we say this child was destined to have a disease throughout his life and have die from that particular disease?
What basis?
Because it was born in Mars Rahu and the placement of Mars Rahu we have discussed. 6th house, 8th lord and 6th house. Conjunct 8th, 6th lord.
So life starts in a hospital. Okay, life starts in a hospital. There was not a single day when the child was out of hospital. The child started in hospital, died in hospital.
The 12th house has both the Saturn and Mars aspect, sir. 12th house has both Mars and Saturn aspect. Yeah, very strong.
Even Rahu 88% on 12th house. So all malefics on 12th house. Sir, one thing, if it was, let's say, if it was Rahu and Jupiter, Rahu's Mahadasha, Jupiter Antardasha, should we still treat it as a bad dasha to start the life? If it is Jupiter's Antardasha in Rahu's Mahadasha?
No, I didn't understand what you're saying.
Oh, so I came across somebody who started his life with Rahu.
Wait, don't go to another horoscope. We are already all breaking our head on this. I'm saying, can we concentrate on this soul's journey starts with Mars Rahu, and only from that point say something that this is how life begins. Life begins in the dasha of which? Of
Eighth
Mars.
lord and third longevity lord dasha, which is afflicted, sir.
Guruji, life begins with disease. Harini is saying. Unfortunately, she can't speak in my device.
Okay. Life begins with disease. Why? Because it is 8th and 3rd and 8th lord. One. Any other point about this?
Name is 6th lord, sir. 3, 6 and 8th lord. Dasha.
Okay, Rahu is 6th lord and they're together. So there is an 8 and 6 connection. And this connection is hurting Mercury, the Lagna Lord. Mars is hurting
12th house. 12th house.
Okay, very good. Whatever points earlier all the students said, everything you bring into play. Like when Prahlad said, is this person spending a lot of money in hospital? The only thing they did was spend everyday money till the person died. How many years?
11
more
years
than $1 million was spent.
Wow. Guruji, from birth, was there a blood problem? Because of Mars Rahu together.
No, it was a lymph problem, where immunity problem. That is, the immunity system was completely down, and it was not AIDS. Okay, it was not anything like that.
Guruji, because Mars is also for energy, right? So that can mean we can say Mars is also for immunity.
Correct. Mars is a planet for strength. Okay. Mars is a planet for strength. So no strength to fight.
Guruji, somebody said whenever Venus is debilitated or XYZ, in a very bad position, they will have a bad health.
See, this is about genetically, it's something which came from the parents. And as I told you, a remark, something that I noticed and I was stunned by that was every time I read the horoscope of somebody with a hereditary disease, I noticed the Antardasha was always Rahu or Ketu. This is from several times over and over again, the same pattern repeating. So starting with Mars and Rahu 1, and then the final problem was Cancer, where the other thing that we said, Jupiter in the 3rd and 8th Lord in the 6th. I think in between somebody read out from our Lords of Houses in different houses, right? Or was it some other book they read? I think BPHS, I think they read. Correct?
Correct, Guruji.
Yes,
who did that? 8th Lord in the 6th. And we said, what about snakes? Purnima. Okay, Purnima read that. So when you say danger from snakes, please treat it as poisoning, or when a snake bites, what it really happens, the poison gets inside and damages all the organs. It's pure cyanide. Okay. So
from AL, from R the Lagna, the 7th house, if there are malefics, it's like it's blocking the R the Lagna. That is one point. And the second point is, it is said that if malefics are in 7th from R the Lagna, it means the person will be known for negative reasons.
Oh, okay. This is from Jaimini Sutra.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Guruji, going back to the snakes, what did it mean here? Like the child had some poisoning first? So was it like some wrong injection or something? Or
not poisoning, something like poison, because anything, if anything enters this person, there is no chance he will survive. So they were, now I am going to read out so that this will become, okay. Anyway, what is the house of imprisonment? Which house is the imprisonment house?
12th house, sir.
12th house.
12th house. So from this, you see the Dashanath and Bhuktinath started their rule by getting into the 6th and then looking at the 12th house. Everybody has understood that part?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts regarding that? Can you say how much percentage Mars looks at the 12th?
100%, sir.
100%, because the table is available, right? All of you can see the table. In case you are not able to see, I'll enlarge it like this. Now for one good time, you can look at the 100 at the last column. Mars looking at house 12, 100%. Never neglect the 100%. Then of course you can go to 95 and so on. But can you look at the last line and see who are influencing the 12th house of hospital and quitting the world?
Saturn and Mars and Rahu, sir.
That is the reason why life went in Rahu Saturn. Okay. But the main point about this is, how did life begin? Life begins with a imprisonment, a hospital, and the child never came out of it. Okay.
They were growing only in the hospital, Guruji? Like never stepped out?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Immunity disorder, so he will not come out, I think.
Beautiful. Fantastic point. Okay, I'm now going to read it. This is a person of whose name was David Vetter, born September 21, 1971. Severe combined immunodeficiency, SCID, a hereditary disease which dramatically weakens the immune system. Okay. And now what they did was they called this boy Bubble Boy. They created a bubble. I don't know, whatever they use for creating the bubble. Obviously, it is not the regular bubble. And but he became very famous because of the media. And Vetter's surname was not revealed to the general public until 10 years after his death in order to preserve the family's privacy. So it's unfortunate. So he just lived in the hospital all the time. And there was not only the hospital, he was not allowed to come out of that bubble. He was always inside. So just to tell you how much this bubble is, life in the bubble, water, air, food, diapers, and clothes were sterilized before they could enter the sterile chamber. Items were placed in the chamber and so on. So it became so bad. And then when Vetter was 4 years old, he discovered that he could poke holes in his bubble using a butterfly syringe that was left inside the chamber by mistake. And then they explained to him, please don't do that because you have no chance of surviving if you get infected. And then finally, approximately 1.3 million was spent, but the scientific study failed to produce a true cure. And the main point was, Vetter later received a bone marrow transplant from his sister. While his body did not reject the transplant, he became ill with the infectious mononucleosis after a few months. He died 15 days later on Feb 22, 1984. This February month is Saturn's month. Always remember that. Jan 15th to March 15th is called Saturn month. The sun, when it goes through Saturn's sign, is called Saturn month. He died in February. 22 again, Rahu number, from lymphoma at the age of 12. The autopsy revealed that Catherine's bone marrow contained traces of a dormant virus, Epstein-Barr, which was undetectable in the pre-transplant screening. Okay, so that's how the the unfortunate story ended. And you can later find out the name David Vetter, Vetter. Okay.
What is time of birth, Guruji? Time of birth?
Time of birth, I don't know whether he gave it to me. No, he has not given it to me. I can definitely get it from Manoj and share it in the group. Okay.
Thank you.
So, Guruji, one question I had was that inimical to co-born means that the sibling is enemy, or you are the enemy to the sibling?
The sibling is enemy to you.
Oh, okay. That's
the sibling affects you. The sibling affects you. But this is again not intentional. You understand? It's not intentional.
So the lesson that I'm getting, Guruji, is that I think I was looking at Upapada Lagna, marriage is great, is second from Upapada Lagna is good. So all these were tangents. So if we look at how to read the chart, I think the first thing is life there? How long the life is?
No, usually you should give a lot of importance to the beginning. Always to the beginning. Okay. And then health. I mean, it has to go slow. But when you start talking, because it is like an exam time, you are under pressure. Everybody wants to say something before, it could be the way you react to these sessions. Some of you can take it so calm and some cannot. I have to tell before others tell. And so you might tell certain things. So that's how it all happens. But there is no need to feel shy about it, because if you do this to the whole world, maybe even amongst best astrologers, they will also do the same mistake that you did. They will also think they might go into a tangent and say this person's married life is in trouble or something like that. It requires a kind of a relaxed way of reading a chart. There is no pressure, because under pressure you perform very differently. Like if I keep this as an exam paper, it will be very difficult. You need to go slow and look out for patterns. I actually expected one of you to start straight away with that 1918 of Mars and Rahu. And then I thought you would look at this and say life started in Mars Rahu. Because I want to tell you one more important fact about Bhava chart. Rashi chart is one, and without Lagna degree, you can create a Rashi chart. Okay, so that is easy to understand. No need to have Lagna. You can simply create a Rashi chart. But if you put in Lagna, then you create the Bhava chart. And when you create the Lagna, it is something very specific to this person. And in that specific Lagna, in the Bhava, it is moving to the 6th house and it does not remain into the 5th house. Then it helped Prahlad to make statements like, about hospital and so on. Slowly he built up on it and others joined. Everybody had contributed wonderfully well in this session. I'm so happy about it. Okay, once you get, you need to be, sometimes you have to be lucky. For example, I was thinking the other day when these people, I didn't even know I was walking into a test. But that day, if you ask me how many times, do all the people having Jupiter in the 3rd get cancer? No. You need many conditions in the horoscope and then Jupiter in the 3rd will cause it. Can anybody say anything more about anything to do with Jupiter alone, only from Jupiter's point of view?
Jupiter is in Saturn Nakshatra.
Jupiter in Saturn Nakshatra. Wonderful point. Because now it sits in the star of the 6th lord. You can think about connections in Rashi chart as one connection and star connection as another connection. But which is more important? It is always the Rashi connection. Because the Nakshatra connection, without talking about the Nakshatra connection, Parashara almost finished the entire book without using the Nakshatra connection. But there is a Nakshatra connection also, which is a separate branch of study. And most of the Nadi textbooks, especially Dhruva Nadi types of books, Chandrakala Nadi, etc., always talks about and gives a lot of importance to Nakshatra. Okay, now that you said that point, a little more about Jupiter. Anybody wants to contribute one more point?
Sir, like I mentioned earlier, Jupiter is double marka being 7th house lord. Okay, so
you're saying one more extra point on Jupiter, because not only is it in 3rd house, not only it is in MKS, but it is also 7th lord. That's what you mean by...
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, over and above that, anything else you want to say about Jupiter?
Sir, it is not
Mars house. Mars Dasha started Mars house.
Okay.
And Mars is not in a good dignity.
So 95% aspect to Saturn.
Jupiter neutral aspect.
No. Let's go slow. See, that is...
Jupiter is Gnati Karaka, sir.
Jupiter is Jnati Karaka. That is from Charakarakas. Where did you see that?
On the...
GK. Okay, GK. Okay. What is Jnati Karaka?
It hurts or...
Diseases and enemies.
Disease and enemies. Yeah. Correct. Okay, so we have one more point there. And we said Jupiter is in Anuradha Nakshatra. Good. We got some more points. And therefore, it got connected to the Rahu, Shani in that way. See, I'll tell you, I don't actually recommend that we study more and more systems, because it can be mind-boggling and very difficult to handle. But those of you are very smart and you can take in more and more from other systems and then combine it. That's pure intelligence, okay, or your abilities. Therefore, I am going slow on this. I'm not telling you read that book, read this book, and you get more and more knowledge.
Sir, Ashtaka score of Jupiter on the 7th house is 23.
Where did you get that from?
Ashtaka score 23, and then the 4th house Ashtaka. Sorry, go ahead, sir.
Now, how did you? What is that logic there? 23.
So it's a low on the Jupiter has a low score, and even on the 4th house Jupiter has a 26 score. So basically, Ashtaka Varga
No. We don't use that logic. The lords and then connect it to the, that we don't use in Ashtakavarka. Okay.
So sixth and seventh lord are in mutual aspect, Jupiter and Saturn.
Sixth and seventh lord are in mutual aspect. Can you come a little and explain about what are you trying to tell?
So seventh lord, being seventh lord, Jupiter carries the Marak abilities. Yes, and sixth lord, Saturn is also looking at it. So it makes it more potent in the sense disease and Marak together.
Correct. That is the reason why Rahu Saturn was the time when the person couldn't handle it anymore. Very good. Okay.
Guruji, with your kind permission, can I quote a text from a very ancient book, Guruji, which is actually signifying whatever was being predicted by you regarding that bubble and all those things? It is from this book called Mahadev's Jataka Tattva.
Jataka Tattva.
Yes, and there are 2-3 shlokas which are strikingly pronouncing the verdict which you just mentioned.
Okay.
So the first one is shloka number 35 on page number 320.
This is author starting with S, no? Yes.
Subramanya Shastri.
Okay.
Shastri. Okay. And it is a very old book actually. So it is saying clearly one thing. If malefics occupy, there are actually 2-3 shlokas. So I'll read the first one, 35th one. If malefics occupy the 12th, 5th, 9th, and the 2nd houses, the person concerned will be imprisoned. This was the first thing that caught my eye. If malefics occupy the 12th, 5th, 9th, and the 2nd houses, the person will be imprisoned. Simple statement. Single rule. Now I went to the other thing. 36th one. May I proceed, Guruji?
Please.
Yeah. If out of the following pairs, 2nd and 12th, 5th and 9th, 6th and 12th, 3rd and 11th, 4th and 10th, there is equality between the planets, the person concerned will suffer imprisonment. So this is one point which caught my eye. Now we came to the other one, which I was tempted to go further into it, and then clearly they mentioned something here in shloka number 39, page number 321. If Mithuna, Tula, Mesha or Kanya be rising and malefics occupy the 2nd, 12th, 9th and 5th houses, the native will be put in fetters. Once again, we are coming into the fetters. Fetters is like the bubble that you spoke. I was able to relate to that.
Okay.
So these are the shlokas which are strikingly giving the, instead of telling other things, about the marriage and all those things, they're giving directly that the person will suffer imprisonment.
Yeah, these are all bandhana yogas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we can take this as imprisonment in the literal sense and also imprisonment in the form of the soul not enjoying the freedom.
Exactly. So the child is always wanting to go out and be with other children, but it cannot because the doctors wouldn't permit, and the family members also wouldn't permit because they spent a lot trying to protect and trying to find a way out to save the child. So it is like helplessly, trying to save, and you cannot help.
Guruji, what is the meaning of equality between the planets? Does it mean the similar degrees?
What?
There is a word which says equality between the planets. Does it mean that they are occupying the same degrees?
No, it is like filling up those houses, like balancing those houses.
Oh, okay.
Like one here, one there, one here, one there, like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is like that.
Thank you, Guruji.
Guruji, I had a question about lordship. Just 1 minute, Anu. Let me just. I've been trying to ask this question. That the lordship wise, Guruji, the Jupiter, Lord of the 4th in 3rd and Lord of the 7th in 3rd. Lord of the 4th in 3rd is actually very, very positive. Like we'll have servants, will be valorous, will be free from diseases. And then Lord of the 7th in 3rd is also like loss of children and sometimes with great difficulty will have a living son. There's also the possibility of birth of a daughter. And then Jupiter in 3rd house by Bhrigu Sutram is also not negative about diseases. So how do we, like in the stacking up, how do we see this? Like,
it is because the child started the dasha, started the body, got life in Mars dasha and Rahu Anta dasha. It straight away got a starting problem. And once there is a starting problem that is set into motion, other planets will not have so much grip to change everything. because the damage is hereditary in nature, It is something where you cannot fight so easily. You're born with that. You're born with that condition. So of course, the astrology that way is a little difficult, because if you don't know what takes precedence over the other, what shall I say? It's like if if Jupiter comes to the ninth from this house and from moon, and Saturn comes in the third, it is one of the best times to have, if Faladipika says that. What will that best be for certain people for whom there is no great possibility at all? What will that be? Like that. So when you read any comedy, are you understanding what I'm trying to say? Somebody is on the street begging for years. And if a nice yoga Antardasha starts, what happens to him? What do you think will happen?
He will get a 2,000 rupee donation on that particular period. Suddenly.
Certainly.
Which for him is a huge amount.
Yeah, he will. But the quality of his life cannot be reversed. It cannot be reversed by any dasha and antardasha. So there is something like that in life, that when you're damaged with something as severe as this at the birth time, when you can't even step out of a bubble, you are imprisoned. The moment you step out, you will die. Then how can you bring in other planetary, positions? It won't work.
So we have to be able to identify, Guruji, like.
Yeah, that is a problem. Right? Yeah, that's actually a problem, because unless you're slow and you're very calm and spend a lot of time thinking about a chart, you might make mistakes. But nowadays it doesn't happen like that, because when you people are meeting friends, relatives and clients, most probably they will ask questions, and that would prevent you from going into a tangent. See, because Guruji, it will not be like a blind reading, right?
But Guruji, I feel like Guruji, we have retrofitting, risk. Like when you know the answer, you can try to retrofit it. It becomes very I feel
no, but if you do it very often, these exercises, if you do very often, next time, without any information coming from the person, you can start off straight away. Like, for example, even though the title of the meeting was imprisonment, there were many things that you people came up with, which is totally based on planetary positions. So that proves astrology, but it proves that this game is not so easy. It is difficult. That you could make mistakes, like somebody started speaking about this child's career and abilities and so on, right? Okay.
Thank you, Guruji. Sorry, you can go ahead.
One main thing in the chart is adding the point. Let me finish. 159 is affected. That's why everything is negative. If 159 was strong, then it won't be this bad. That's another add-on factor.
Okay, 159.
In all the worst charts, 159 will be very bad.
No, Sai, we were talking about 12, 5, 9, and 2nd in the extreme case. So yesterday's point was Saturn in the 5th, and today we are getting malefics in the 12, 5, 9, and 2nd. The first was not mentioned in the book. So I'm wondering if we should also look at the first.
No. Generally, I'm saying in any chart, whenever I look at the chart, I look at 159. 159 determines the
holistic,
the
holistic consideration. Yeah.
So 159, there was a problem. So whatever other problems are there, it will be more enlarged. So the health part is enlarged. There's no way out. Like even in the case of beggar, he might have this 159 problem, so he is not able to get out from the begging and all that.
Oh, okay. We need to keep an eye on these rules, the single rules that are prominently coming up.
Exactly. That is where the yogas are very, very powerful. The yogas determine what kind of experience one will have. And that experience will stay for a long time. It doesn't go away. So once you determine that this person's health is down, then, in those days, when you start life with a very bad dasha, the standard approach by astrologers was, let's see if the child survives 8 years. You know that? 8 years.
Bala Ariston, sir.
Balarishta, and some argue Balarishta is not 8, it is 12. There are arguments about that.
Guruji, since we are talking about the starting the Mahadasha and Antardasha when the child is born, I had a general question. Some people, they select a auspicious day and time so that to ensure that the child born has a very auspicious birth chart. What is your personal opinion on that, Guruji? Because some people are for it, some people are against it.
Sorry, there was a break in the signal. Can you repeat it?
Yeah, since we are talking about the starting Mahadasha, Antardasha of the child born, and in this case, okay. I had a general question. Some people, they select a auspicious day and time to ensure that the child has a very good birth chart. So, what is your personal opinion on that practice? Some people are for it, and some people are against it. So, just want to know what is your personal opinion on that.
We have done a very long session on that topic. It's already there on YouTube, I think. I'll try to send the link.
Yeah, and I can tell from my own experience also, it is something that you can plan, you can do, but it may not be in your hands, because in my own case, for my children, it's not like I had that much knowledge of astrology at that time, but I was still trying to see if it is a good time, good date and all that. But suddenly some set of events might happen, right? Like we went to the doctor, they said, no, we have to do a C-section immediately. So it is out of your control sometimes. You think you are in control, but you're not.
Absolutely right, sir. That happened with me as well. So I believe completely that, it happens when it has to happen.
Exactly. The child is destined to be born at a time. There's nobody who can change that. If an astrologer works on it and gives that time, that is the fated, destined time that the astrologer also will give. It's very hard to believe these things, but that's how it is. Quite recently, one of the recent cases I did on this was extremely rich person wanted time of birth for the daughter. I mean, the child who's going to be born. And Manoj and I spent a lot of time, and we discussed. Somehow we got one particular small gap. And then, I told Manoj, I don't think this child will be born at this time. Because we managed to put it at in a point where everything seems to be good. And then what happened was, this man is extremely rich, not ordinary. If you want to know how rich he is okay, I'll tell you at one point. So later he came and told me the doctors are not helping. They're not cooperating. So I said, change the doctor, change the hospital. He said, no, my wife is not with that. She wants only these people. And they said, if it gets complicated, you are in for trouble, and like this and like that. And finally, it was fixed by the doctor. The doctor said, I will only do it at this time. Can you imagine this? Because of the hours we spent on it, the fees was also extremely high. But nothing worked, nothing helped. And the surprise news for you is, we found an ordinary horoscope time in the same, that 1 week or 2 weeks for some other client. And we could not find any good horoscope. So we randomly just eliminated some bad and gave him a time. And that's very easy, very ordinary birth. And that person in the same hospital managed to make the doctors take out the child at the time that we gave. Okay. The same hospital. Are you getting my point? In the first case, the same doctors are refusing to help this man who's so rich. He can buy the hospital in one check. He can give just one check and buy the hospital. He's so rich. And he tells me I cannot control the doctors. Whereas this ordinary guy who's not that big, he tells the doctor, I want this at this time. You say, okay, whatever time you say, we'll do it. I've given the time of birth for many members of Apollo Hospital family. And each time I gave them the time, I said, you will not be able to do it at this time. And they never did it, not even once. So the easy way to come out of this mind-boggling question is, when a doctor tells, is the doctor deciding the fate of the child? Anybody wants to try answering this question? When a doctor says, I will do the operation at 2 o'clock, is he Brahma? Is he changing the child's time of birth?
No.
That is the destiny of the child.
Then an astrologer gives, why should you think it is different? How many of you understand what I'm trying to say?
No, it depends. Yeah, it depends on the child.
When a doctor is giving, you are saying that is the fate. When astrologer gives, you are saying, no, it is not. That the astrologer is creating, he is now Brahma. He is creating a karma.
But there is one difference, sir, here. Astrologer can give few times, but doctor, if it says 2 o'clock and if it's more closer to the delivery, then it's more weightage is to the doctor. That's what I think. But it's
not about weightage. No.
Yeah.
You don't understand what I'm saying. If the doctor says one time that this is when it is going to happen, is he not fixing the time of birth for the child? Is he not the one who is actually doing it?
Correct. He is actually.
But when an astrologer does, you are confused.
No. When an astrologer does, that's even a destiny. But you were mentioned that whenever you give a date, most of the time the child will not happen on that date or time.
That is because that is not destiny. That is because it is not destiny.
Correct. But what doctor is more closer to the destiny, being he's the karka. He's the actually doing the work. He's not. You can say he's not predicting. He's actually karma, right? He's performing his karma. So in that sense, I was saying, yeah. So
astrologer is also performing his karma.
Performing karma, yeah. Yeah.
But both are correct, right? I mean, even for if Brahma decides, somebody has to be the agent. It's either the doctor or the parents or the astrologer or somebody.
So many things. See, so many things. The doctor wants to do the operation at 2 o'clock. For some reason on that day, the entire road will be blocked. And she will arrive 2.5 hours late. And then they do 2.5 hours later. And that is the original time of the child's birth. So whatever you do, the time of birth cannot be changed. And so anybody and everybody in this will be just playing along with karma.
So then you're saying it's not even worthwhile, even attempting to give a good
No,
time.
how can you conclude? How can you conclude? Attempting might be part of it, and not attempting can be part of it.
At least you try, right? Good. Karma. You perform your karma, and if it happens or not, it's
so you're saying then we can attempt it, but there is no guarantee that it may happen.
No. You do not know the answer, because if you attempt it, that is only karma. If you don't attempt it, that is only karma. Finally,
Guruji,
whatever happens
I had
is
a
karma.
question.
Yes.
I think Sheena has a question. Yeah.
Yes.
Guruji, I had a question about, because obviously we're like trying to possibly look at becoming professional astrologers. And what if we look at a certain chart, like this chart, and you feel really heavy after looking at the life that this individual has karmically, and the impression that leaves on the astrologer? How does the astrologer negate the effects of reading some of the charts and some of the negativity that's associated with this person's lifespan? How does one negotiate that kind of area? I
didn't quite understand what you said. Can somebody help me out? I had trouble understanding
I can explain again. I can basically, when we read a chart.
Wait 1 minute.
When we read astrology.
Just hold on. I'm getting some other sound of baby in the background.
That's my son. Sorry.
Oh, your son. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, tell me.
I apologize.
No, you don't have to
right.
apologize because the topic is children. So let him be,
Yes. So,
I mean, he's a good omen for us that we are talking about children.
Okay. So basically, when we're reading a chart and we're reading a chart of a child who's having a lot of like health issues, and you're an astrologer, and if you read a chart, you're left feeling quite heavy and almost distressed. How does an astrologer kind of negotiate that area, of the feelings that certain charts can kind of create inside of you? Because we're all connected on some level.
In this, it won't be just the astrologer who's involved in this. There'll be many other people who are involved. The child's father and mother, how will they deal with it? How will the grandparents of this child deal with it? How will the doctor deal with it? How much of this will hurt them? How much of this will, take away their peace of mind and all that? How much will they struggle with all this? In the same way, an astrologer also is affected by these things. Because, for example, when I read a chart, when I come out of my consultation room and my face looks very dull, my wife will quickly know that I have read the chart of somebody who's in great trouble, karmically in great trouble. Sometimes I come out very happy and they know that this was a very good chart. It affects me, but in the same way, it can affect others also, depending upon how they react. There are some astrologers who will not really bother about what's being studied. If somebody is sick, he'll say, so what? I'm not in charge of this. I'm not the one who's responsible for it. So sometimes people can read it objectively, sometimes subjectively. You cannot take the subjectiveness out of an astrologer. Sometimes he will also fall prey to that, depending upon the situations. There are cases where I had to tell bad things about their own children. And sometimes, I struggle with the words. I want to say something. And sometimes they'll say, I know you want to say something, but you're hiding. And that's also another problem. Even if we keep quiet, they'll say, no, you're hiding something. We want to know. Please tell it. Otherwise, we spend so much money on this consultation. So please let us know. So it does affect us. It does affect me many times. I've been very sad. Now, so many things unforgettable in 30 years, so many unforgettable things. And there are times when I used to pray to God, send me people whose horoscope is so nice. But then in the same prayer, I'll tell myself, then they wouldn't come to you for consultation. But there are people who come without a problem, and then I see something. And then sometimes I think, should I tell that or not? Should I ignore it? So there will be some problems. If you tell, and if you don't tell also, there will be some problems. It all depends on what was the actual problem. Lovers, when they come, I know for sure the marriage will end very soon. And I don't know what exactly to tell them. Should I tell that it's all gone? Sometimes for business people, I'll tell them very point blank. If you take this business in 3 years' time, you will come back to my consultation, but you won't have money to even pay my fees. I've said that several times, and it has worked exactly like that. So it's very difficult to give you a straight answer for that, how much we get affected. Especially when you have children, it affects you a lot, because you can put yourself in the parents' shoes and think, how would I have felt if some astrologer told me about my children like this? It's so difficult. It's one of the reasons why I never read my children's chart. I'm scared of reading it. I can't even look at anything properly and then try to think. In fact, tell you the truth, only my wife tells me that this dasha bhukti has changed. This antardasha is now this, and you must tell something. And I'll say, okay, what do I say? It's so difficult. Even my own chart, if you say, I know certain things, but it worries me also. But like that, family members, all of them. Sometimes I wish next birth I should not be an astrologer. I have done that many times. I want to be just normal. Because wherever I go, people will say, how's my future? I'm having this problem. Can you help me out in this? So there's no end to complaints. Even if I go for a relaxation, just now I went for I got delayed because of a game I played. And there also they kept nagging me. I am this Rashi. You must tell something about me. I'm in trouble. I got a lot of, all my money is stuck. I'm losing money. I don't know what is going to happen to my family. Those kind of things. So that's very common in this field. But then I think it must be there. I was just thinking about medical people. How many deaths they will see every day in the hospital. How do they handle it? How many postmortem? All that.
Sir, I see blue light in your specs, and I see a blue shirt you are wearing on Saturday. So maybe blue Shani Dev Kala.
Of late I found that I'm picking up a lot of blue shirts on Saturdays. I don't know why, but usually
the light is because of the screen. I think the screen.
Even your eyes are blue. I was surprised. I thought you have blue eyes.
No. My eyes are not blue.
Actually, my wife scolds me, Guruji, because she knows if it's because she's found the pattern. On Wednesdays, I'll wear green. On Tuesdays, I'll wear red. On Thursdays, I'll wear yellow. And she thought I knew why I was wearing it, but she found out the pattern. She said, "What, today is Friday?" Or
you're not supposed to do that because your ascendant remains the same. And good and bad planets are always fixed. So if you have red favorable, then most probably green is unfavorable. So it's not good to keeping like weekdays you keep changing the colors. If you're born in one lagna, your good planets remain the same, your bad planets remain the same. I don't wear.
Can I ask, just because I do it, I'm asking, like, for example, on Tuesdays, I pray to Muruga, or Wednesdays, I pray.
Prayer is different. Prayer is different. Prayer, you have to do for all the functional malefics. The prayer is compulsory. If this child whose horoscope we read, the highest remedy in Indian system is Skanda Shashti Kavach, protecting the body through Mars.
Sir, I want to say one thing, sir, here regarding Mars. The 64th Navamsha and 22nd Rakana is Mars, sir. Both.
Oh, you calculated it from Jagannatha Hora?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Navamsha from our system itself, in my page itself, I know, because the fourth sign is Mars. So Mars became, so the child started with 24th Navamsha Lord. Wonderful point. See, this is some, okay. Though we digressed a little bit. As many points like this you can see. From where did you get Drekana? You created the Drekana chart.
Sir, I have the total details from the internet, and I
Jagannath
chart
Hora.
in Jagannath Hora.
Okay. Guruji, the ascendant degree is in Mrityu Bhaga.
Ascendant degree is in Mrityu Bhaga. Okay. Okay, very good.
What is that, Guruji? What does that mean?
There are some specific points marked out in the entire zodiac. These are finer points. So it will be very useful in stack-up method. So the Mrityu Bhaga points.
And the time he died, it is Sade Sati, sir.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
So over the moon, is it? Okay. When Saturn came to this side, when was that? Died in 82, 85. 82, 85, where was Saturn? How did he do that? 20 years?
It's 82, 85, it was, I think, sir, exalted.
No, but that exact date is when? When did the 84 or 83? 84, I think. Let me do one thing.
Can you open the chart, Guruji?
1 minute.
Tula or Scorpio, sir.
No, but I don't know. She did it right. How did she do it? She used Jagannatha Hora to find out. But before that, I'll go to the exact time of death. Death was 84 Feb. 22, I said, right?
Saturn was Saturn was exalted in Tula at that time, I think.
Oh.
Yes.
And moon.
So it is in Sade Sati. Okay.
Yeah, it's in Sade Sati. Moon is in ascendant, right? So it's one house.
Moon and Saturn are exactly opposite.
No, the one important rule is during Sade Sati, Saturn Antardasha will add fuel to fire. Saturn Antardasha. See, sometimes I'm also a little doubtful about that Balarishta argument that is going on because this child died at 12. Okay. But most of the occurrences was 8 years, when they were 8 years.
Sir, Jupiter is exactly the same position, sir.
It comes back to the same point. Yeah. Because once in 12 years, Jupiter comes back to the same point. I mean, that was one of the logics that they had used, that after 12 years, the child is on its own. Up to 12, the child is under the karma of father and mother. So we do not know the parents' horoscope. They seem to be rich people. And
no, sir, insurance might have paid for it. They cannot pay from the pocket. In here, you have insurance. If you have a good insurance, they will pay for it.
I see. They give it at the time of birth itself. They can take insurance with the disease. Do they allow? But in India, if they find the moment they know you are having a disease, you will never get an insurance.
I think his case is unique because they want to study people like him, so they will get additional funding from some grants from different.
I see.
Institutions. Yeah.
Okay.
And in this case, Guruji, the child actually, if you see the Google pictures, of course, it was very, very sad, but he is getting a lot of support. Like there's a very good equipment and they have taken so much of precaution. If you see, they're even trying to play with him. He has toys inside the bubble, whatever best that they could do in such a bad situation. But resources wise, if it's normally if in a very poor country, this child will not even survive.
So in fact, I would like to highlight here, sir, the same point what I was saying earlier. Maybe I went in the professional direction, but if you see his 10th Lord and 11th Lord together in the first house, 9th Lord, though debilitated in the first house, monetarily, he would have been very well off, and he got all the support.
I see.
It's a fame. He got a lot of fame. So Sun is sitting with Sun is sitting with all these planets, gave him a lot of fame, even though he was sick.
So Guruji, because it's a BSPA class, and because somebody asked earlier on how do you tell somebody when they have a problem, can I, if you think about astrology, it is more about probabilities, right? Let's say one rule is satisfied, then maybe 20-25%, two rules. So with the startup method, maybe even 100% possibility doesn't mean it will happen, because there is still God above that. So in situations where the astrologer knows this is definitely a challenging thing, is it a better thing to just say that, this is a challenge for you and give some remedies around it, rather than saying it will or will not happen?
Exactly. Correct.
Okay.
In most cases, I will do that. But there was a time when I used to show off with my knowledge until 2009. So most of my long-term students know about these stories. The last time I did it was 2009. And that was a day. And on that occasion, I told myself I'll never do it again. Date of death of anybody. Okay. And that's it. After that, I didn't do it.
Guruji, is there like a remedy for Jupiter in the third? Because you obviously said that, it's got a link, not necessarily 100%, but there's a link to potentially getting cancer. So what kind of perhaps remedial measures or mantras or something can maybe somebody in this case with Kanya Lagna do, please? Thank you.
If this was not so intense, where it was like almost irreversible. Things went out of control, right? From birth, hereditary problem, and then with good intention, you do bone marrow transplant from your sister, and that boomerangs and creates more problems. All this is out of control. So there are situations like this when actually, tell you the truth, even remedies won't work. But from astrologer's point of view, nobody's going to give up. We are all going to give remedies by saying you do this, Mars related remedy. You do try to strengthen Mercury and try to strengthen Venus. All these things, and always give hope to the person that some miracle can happen because of God. There is no way you can use your astrology skills and say, but at the same time, you can say this is going to be a difficult period. You better be more careful. Maybe you can take the child more often to the doctor during this phase. I mean, that's my way of talking during a consultation. Can you do a checkup during this period? And it will always show up, in during that time.
So another related thing, Guruji, because you started off by talking about how the parents' chart should give the permission for the child to have maybe the situation, right?
Hereditary diseases.
Correct. So in most cases, the parents are the consultants, in which case, all the remedies that you are suggesting may not help the child, but at least it will help the parent get over the difficulty of maybe losing the child or in future maybe different chance for more children.
No, we never know what's going to happen, because sometimes you see when you start talking about remedies to the parents will say, my son is from IIT, so he will not believe all these things. There are people who told me point blank, he will not believe in such superstitions. They're consulting, they're paying money and consulting. But the words they use is, my son won't believe in such superstition. Then what do you do? Where do you start? The parents are consulting, but I don't think there'll be any use. But in some cases, I did correct it from the parents downwards. I remember I was taking care of a horoscope where the child had a range of, like what you call autism. So I said, show me your horoscope. And when I looked at the horoscope, the person had 5th Lord in the 6th, along with severe affliction on the 5th Lord. So I said, you gave the permission for this child to be like this. So first you do all the remedies, and which they did, because this child cannot do, because the child is not, cannot understand these things. But over the years, things changed. And luckily for all of us, that boy's horoscope showed 9th house improving. So 9th house means college education. So I said from college, you'll get better. And slowly everything changed. And now the boy is going abroad for higher studies. But it took long years. And they came repeatedly. Almost every month, the same parents will come for consultation. So I saw them every month for years, many years. Okay. Then I said, he will have foreign education in a college. They used to laugh. My son won't even pass 8th standard. Then where is the question about going to foreign countries for college?
So Guruji, I'm so sorry to ask, but how do you know if a house is improving? You just mentioned 9th house is improving.
If it is beneficially placed over 4th house. 4th house is school education. It was based upon that. And his 4th house was severely damaged. And so school was horrible. School was like a torture for him. With the principal of the school, what do you call the headmaster or whoever, repeatedly asking, please take your child to a special school. He doesn't belong here. But since the parents were rich enough, they managed to, somehow hold on with all that insult. And they managed. Now the boy is, in fact, in the college, he was in the top 5 students. I predicted, I didn't say top 5, I said top 3, but he came into top 5, I think. Okay.
And sir, one more thing. Mars and Rahu planetary war, Mars is winning for this child. And this child was born in Jupiter's Hora, the Hora lord of that day, Jupiter, and this child was born in that.
Oh,
and the
you derived the time of birth.
Yeah, and then the Kala lord of that day when this child was born at that time was Mars.
Oh, I see. So a lot of Mars has come up.
Yeah, Mars wins over Rahu, even in planetary war.
So Guruji, for that other chart, the example that you were giving, the client's child not doing well in school. So did the child also have like a learning disability, or was it just something else?
The child spoke about autism.
Oh, has autism. Okay, I see.
Somebody mentioned the Mrityu Bhaga. Everybody has the Mrityu Bhaga table with you?
No, sir.
Sir, Jagannath Hora calculates for you.
Oh, it straight away gives it.
Yeah, it gives you. It gives
Just
you the distance from Mrityu Bhaga.
I see.
There is something called distance from Mrityu Bhaga. If you right click on the basic.
I'll show you the table. It is there on my iPad. This is the table. The first one is ascendant. These are specific ascendant points where it will get very sensitive. See, the problem of going too much into all this is sometimes astrology can get scary if you start doing it on your own children, your own dears and nears. It will get very troublesome. So
how to get this chart, Guruji? How to get this one?
I mean, this is a pixel table. It doesn't change. It is taken from Faladipika and Horasara. What do you see on the top?
Is it exactly at those degrees, sir, or is it plus or minus something?
No, it is around that degree. Okay, so...
Yeah, right now this child's chart is at 1 degree, 35 minutes, ascendant degree in Virgo. So ascendant 2 degrees.
Yeah, ascendant 2 degrees. Yeah, so for this child, what is applicable is this one. It's so specific. And these are the planets Mrityu Bhaga. Like if Sun is in Aries 20, it is a Mrityu Bhaga like that. So much of work has gone into development of astrology. Very strange that somebody in our class noticed this point. That means our class is going above average. So I'm surprised.
Sir, one more point, sir. If you take,
I mean, who said that? Who pointed out to Mrityu Bhaga in the class?
Myself, sir.
When I say myself, I don't know who is that myself.
Anu.
Oh, okay. Anu. Okay, very good.
Because I had personal experience, sir.
Oh.
So whenever a chart comes into my hand, I always check if there is any planet in the Mrityu Bhaga. First thing I do is that, sir.
But how to read this? I didn't understand, Guruji. Like, you showed like 2 degrees. Then what does it mean?
No. In when this child was born with Virgo 2 degrees, that particular position, the child was born in a Mrityu Bhaga. That is, there is the possibility of death. I mean, that from ascendant point of view. Okay, so
how do you see that in Jagannath Hora Shastra?
I don't know how they saw that. Okay.
No, that's what I told sir. This is Rahul. So what I said is, if you go to Jagannath Hora, go to the basics, right click on the screen.
Oh, okay.
There are all the options, and then the sixth last option is distance from Mrityu Bhaga, and it tells you which.
How much distance it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Guruji,
how close does it have to be?
Maybe if you are on any Windows system right now where you want to screen share and show to the client, I mean to the students.
I can show.
You can show when wait a minute. I'll give you the rights to share the screen. That should help. Maybe one day we will have Jagannath Hora and look at all the possibilities within the software. Correct?
Yeah, Guruji, when Amitabh Bachchan, he was going through Sun Antardasa, his son is in Mrityu Bhaga. That's when that accident happened.
Oh my God. Oh, fantastic observation.
Oh, okay. It's not mine. It's K.N. Rao sir's observation.
Very good.
So, sir, if you go to this basics,
Correct.
Right, a right click and then there is a distance from Mrityu Bhaga.
Okay, then click it.
Then it tells you
where is the Lagna? Okay.
Yeah, it is in Mrityu Bhaga. Distance is like a 0
very
World
good.
War.
Very good. Very good.
And even
how
it has
close
a
does
good
it have to
options.
be to
Even
the
Graha Yuddha.
exact degree, sir?
No, it won't have to be the exact degree. It is like, that's why this author Narasimha Rao uses the word distance from. How much distance it is. The closer to it, it is more accurate.
So can we say like plus or minus 1 degree or?
Usually it is 1 degree.
Okay.
In that
Yeah,
case, Rahu is also
30.
0.9, sir. 0.9.
Which one?
Rahu is also Rahu 0.9.
Okay.
Yeah, even Rahu is very close to.
Very
Mrityu Bhaga.
close. Hmm. Okay.
And then there is even he's giving calculation for houses. close to
Houses.
Mrityu Bhaga.
Okay. Okay. Very good.
8th house is very close.
Very good.
Usually they take 30 minutes.
30
Either
minutes
side.
is it? Either side.
Either
Okay, not
side,
1
either.
degree. Okay.
And I think sir, Shadbala and this everybody might know, right? Shadbala, Ashtagvarga for this software.
Okay.
Vinshopak Bala.
Hmm.
The
You're
Harsha
all-
Bala for
you-
Jupiter is 0,
you-
sir.
you-
Here. What
Of
can
Jupiter-
we infer from that? Harsha Bala
What
for
is
Jupiter
0?
Harsha Bala for Jupiter is 0.
Oh, Harsh
On
Bala.
Sun. I just want to, yeah, it is 0. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. That is also something maybe you have to learn about each of these strength and how to connect it. Hmm.
But the Ishtaphala of Mars is so high, sir, but the Mars is not helping.
Hmm.
Stack-up methods are Mars is in anyhow strong in Shadbala. It's the strongest of all.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
It's not good for this Lagna. It's strong.
Yeah. And the 8th lord is weak, sir. Sorry, not 8th lord. I'm saying Saturn.
With Moon Lagna, sir, the 12th Lord is in 12th house, sir. With if we take Moon as a Lagna, because it is strong. Moon is strong, so I did it with Moon, and the 12th Lord in 12th indicates will only face heavy expenditure, will not have physical felicity, be irritable and spiteful.
Oh, from Moon's point of view.
But yes, Moon is in 1st house. 12th Lord is in 12th house.
No. She created it from the Moon chart.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I just want to see from the Moon what is the position of the 12th house.
Good. Okay, I think we had a very nice session. Kishore, you will have to type out that Bandhana Yoga lines from Jataka Tattva. Okay.
Do I do it now, Guruji, or?
If you, or you can send it to me by a separate mail where I will copy paste it into during the video editing.
Okay, Guruji, I'll do it. I'll
and sir, one thing
properly. And one more thing I just wanted to say.
Yeah, 1 minute. Before that, click on Lord of 64th Navamsa and 22nd Trekana.
Yeah, sir, that's what I wanted to show. It's easy here.
Oh my God. It is Mars all the way. My God.
All the way. See that?
From so many systems, it is Mars. My God.
So only Jupiter, Mars, and Mercury, sir.
Yeah, shocking.
How did you get this?
This is again same right click only.
Yeah, right click and you have all these options. So the thing here is you have to go to this basic first and then you will get all this.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep the mouse over the basic and then you get these options. Okay.
And sir, there is a Pushkar Navansha and Pushkar Bhaga, both calculations also on this if you want.
Correct. That is for positive.
Yeah.
Guruji, may I say something about Saravali?
Yes, please.
In Saravali, I was quietly doing the grahas in various signs.
1 second. Rahul, you can unshare. Yeah.
Unshare? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Rahul.
Yeah.
So just a quick reference, which I would not take too long. It's
okay.
I'll only mention the page numbers. Probably I'll send it in the email according to, since you had asked for that also.
Okay.
So Venus in Virgo, page number 415, volume 2.
Okay, Venus in Virgo.
Virgo. That seems to be having a lot of problems. In fact, the key remark is, in fact, I'm shocked to hear this key remark, which is so powerful. It comes as page number 415.
Okay.
And it says the last concluding remark is, there is a school of thought that Venus in deep fall, I think it should be dignity,
debilitated, highest debilitation. Yeah.
Okay. Will mar the beauty of the whole horoscope and nullify even powerful Raja Yogas.
Oh, okay.
So that seems to be a very strange comment.
Mm.
And then about the Venus in Virgo, there are a lot of negative things. So that is page number 415, volume 2. Then we go to Mars in the 5th house, which is page number 494 in volume 2, the same Saravali, volume 2. There again, we have a lot of negative remarks. So already there was a lot of negativity discussed. And then we go to Saturn in Taurus, page number 443.
Saturn in Taurus, okay.
Yeah, in 443. So again, there we are getting a lot of negative remarks.
I see. Okay,
whatever
you find, you just if you can give me in raw text, it will be very useful because I can copy paste it and put it in the star.
Yes, I will give it in a clear
just text, Unicode text or
in the OCR.
Something where I can copy paste.
So the question that I'm going to ask is, all these single rules are pointing in one particular direction, along with the rules mentioned in the previous book, that is Jataka Tattva, which was mentioning about the different lords of the houses, malefic nature of this. All of them will be combining in a stack up, right?
Correct. Yes.
Or do we only take the serious ones first?
No, in the stack up, there is a weightage method. You can't just stack up all the points and say which has to be given more importance. If anything is there, direct statements. Sometimes one sloka itself will be many things at one time. Yeah, it will be many things at one time. So that one single rule will be too powerful to express a point. Yeah, like something like that. Yeah, even if you make, for example, one of the Bandhana Yoga is if you have Saturn in the 2nd, Rahu Ketu in the 5th, that Jayalalitha had, and one more planet in the 9th, it is a typical imprisonment yoga. I mean, I quoted that when she consulted me. So, that time she was not even imprisoned. So, based upon that rule only, I said that, and then she was immediately imprisoned after that first rule, and after she stepped down as the CM, and then she was imprisoned. So, if you have any rule, inside that rule, 1, 2, 3, like that parameters are involved, it will become standalone powerful rule. You don't need more stack-ups for that. See, for example, if you take Bhrigu Sutram and read Mars in the 6th house, if you read simply Mars in the 6th house without any conditions apply, you will get one result. But if you read Mars in the 6th, I'll just read out.
There is a conflict between Bhrigu Sutram and BPHS, Guruji.
No, it is not a conflict. It is additional information. Always in astrology, don't consider conflict. It will be just that they wrote it with something in mind. We will talk about it later. Okay, I'm just reading out. Most of the things about Mars in the 6th is good because defeat enemies and this and that. So they're all irrelevant. Suddenly the whole thing changes. If Mars is associated with or aspected by a malefic, the above results will still be there. That's the reason why he was still born under well-to-do people, but the native will suffer from rheumatism, pains, etc. Then again, some more extra problems are given based upon for health. Okay, so when malefics, somebody's talking.
Rahul, can you please mute?
Sorry.
Okay, so when you read a combination and when you see malefics influencing, most probably it is bad. So here the problem which I actually wanted all of you to note in the beginning of the consultation was, the discussion was that Rahu and Mars are sticking so closely together. So that is the prime thing. And because that caught my attention, because the child started with Mars Rahu. So that is extremely important for this reading this chart. So these are the catch points in a horoscope reading, but the rest will come a little bit of practice only. We cannot bring this down to okay, use this method, do it like this. You'll always get perfect answers, like how in other sciences, it's some of the sciences are like this only. It's not that it is point blank. Maybe maths is point blank. It is perfect. But other sciences, there is something. What do you think about Heisenberg's uncertainty principle? Something like that.
Okay.
So
was it Mars in the 6th or was it Mars in the 5th, Guruji, that you read?
Mars in the 6th.
6th. Okay, but there is a conflict between Mars in the 5th in Brigu and Mars in the 5th with Parashara. And they say totally opposite readings. So Brigu says it's poverty for Mars in the 5th, while Parashara says riches for the 5th.
But
Mars in the 5th.
Where do you get Parashara talking about planets in houses?
No, this is not by my observation. It is mentioned in Saravali.
Oh, Saravali, sir.
Okay. Saravali is this thing. Okay. It's page number 495. So I'm yet to go into it.
See, one thing, whenever you come with contradictions, note both the things and keep it in your, maybe you can make a file with all the books for just Mars in the 5th or Mars in the 6th. We can create another table, but do not dismiss it as contradiction, because certain conditions will work under certain, certain combinations work under certain conditions. The same thing.
Okay.
And there is no end to being surprised with this. So I have seen it many times. So you cannot dismiss off any book for that matter. If somebody has said something, I learned this technique from Buddha. Buddha said, if something is told, do not reject it altogether. Do not accept it altogether. Keep it at 50-50 possibility. And start doing a research from that point. If you dismiss it, maybe you miss all the glory in it. And if you accept it also, you might blunder because you just believed somebody who said something. So what we are doing is not only believing the classical textbook, we are also proving it again and again. These classical textbook rules are so accurate that we can say so many things so perfectly. Okay.
Guruji, something came up.
Yeah.
So I was asking for the nakshatra for the ascendant. Okay. And ascendant is Uttara Falguni. Okay. And that is a concept. You take the deity of the nakshatra and then go to the story, like the deity's story. So here, the story for this nakshatra is actually the story of Nandi.
Okay.
And then, and I'm just reading this. This is all in Cosmic Insights nakshatra research thing. And one of the points of the story is, though the boy had all the auspicious signs, he would have a very short life. He would not live after the age of 8. Sage Shailada was mortified at this remark. Nandi could not bear his father's sorrow. He began to pray to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva appeared before him and blessed him. And he became like immortal. All that will come.
Very good.
So that part of having a short life is also there for a child.
Yeah. So we can. So many things we can gather from the ancient textbook. This is wonderful what you said just now. Because I'm Uttara Falguni, I know the deity for my nakshatra is Aryaman, right? So, but I didn't know the story about this which you said just now. If possible, can you type it out in the chat, or send me send me the text in WhatsApp? I'll copy paste it and put it on the video.
Sir, Aryaman and Nandi, how they are related, sir? Like, didn't get the point.
I will share the thing on the thing.
Story.
Go through.
Very good. Very good.
Story.
Very good.
Like
In fact, based upon the story, I learned a lot about Rahu and Ketu, which is Rahu. In the way Rahu comes from that line to this line, Q, he is disobedient, but he's bold. So like that, you can pick up a lot of things from stories and learn faster. Okay. Soumya Srivastava, my nakshatra is Uttara Falguni.
I'm also curious, Guruji. Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to ask Guruji one question I had. For Mars in the sixth, a very basic question I had, that when it says that if it is aspected or associated with
malefics, it becomes very bad.
Is it only natural malefics, or it can be functional malefic also?
Whenever we talk about like this conjunction with malefics, it's all the time only natural.
Natural malefics. Okay,
yes, yes, yeah. It is never functional.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Sir, like you said earlier,
sometimes I get confused. The natural, functional. So natural is their natural trait. Functional is based on your ascendant.
Ascendant, and that you will relate only to the dasha reading. That's all.
Guruji, the story that I read is for the nakshatra of the ascendant, not for the moon.
Oh,
yes,
fantastic.
Yes. Nakshatra of the ascendant. That plays
because
a good role.
The person itself. So this is the person's story, and we refer the deity, and the deity's Purana story, and then those patterns in the Puranas might come to the person, not in a full-fledged, but in certain portions. Like for example, I know a person who had Punarvasu as the ascendant. He left his family, and he had to leave his country, and he had to be exiled.
Like Rama.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
But that may not happen to everybody. If
it happens, it happens so perfectly. Okay.
Yeah. If you read the full Purana, one small segment of that will play out. So the theme, so we can understand the theme of the person, the native. I'm still working on the research part of it.
Very good. Very good. Maybe, okay, we'll see how more sessions we can have. Maybe one session you can do a presentation like how Soumya did it once. Soumya's presentation was very good. So like that, if you have something concrete, I know this is the topic for the day. Let's start contributing. No, that's how you develop. When you want to contribute, you take astrology to the next level. You go to the next level automatically, because it's a serious thing. You need to sit down and study and prepare. You saw that day when we were talking, Soumya was preparing, for the speech. Sir,
I have one question.
That's what it is.
When you do stack up method, do you have some kind of chart as to which thing to give more weightage, which thing to give less weightage in the stack up method? Is there a chart, something like that?
No. I devise my own methods for this stack up thing in my software. I give weightage like 2, 1.5, 1, 0.5 like that I give. And so my system keeps adding the points and then it gives me the final score. But I'm not recommending that to you because, that's my personal view. In fact, when I met Sheshadrinath Shastri, he told me a good astrologer is one who knows which rule to give more weightage. So that's one of the words, one of the sentences, one of the facts he taught me. It's just that, at this point, you should give up on this and take on this rule. That, of course, people can call it as intuition or whatever. You will know this will work now. And I should give more weightage to this and neglect the other one. So it comes with practice, maybe. Okay, so, but I knew one thing. If an entire one sloka gets fulfilled with many parameters in it, 1, 2, 3 like that, then it will become as a standalone, it will work straight. You don't need stack up at all at that time. You understand? There are several rules which will stand by itself. Just a single rule is enough. You don't need one more. Okay. I want to tell you about astrology one thing. It is like every time it rained, heavy rain was there was always dark clouds. But every time dark clouds are there, it is not raining. Something like that. So sometimes the planetary positions are there and the event somehow doesn't happen. But when it happens, always, if you reverse engineer, you will see that exact thing so perfectly there. Okay. So, that's how I'm looking at astrology. But it doesn't mean that therefore it is not a perfect science, because sometimes where it works, it is like, so perfect. Like, for example, in this autism case, when I'm telling the people, the parents, that only school will be horrible and in college it will be totally different. You think any other scientist in this world can make that statement?
No way, sir.
No way you can make that statement, because they were laughing every time I repeated it. I mean, they were on tears. It's impossible. And I told you, your second son will become a doctor no matter what you do. It will happen automatically. And he's now he's finishing his is going to be a doctor this year. So, okay. Sometimes you can say, I have a fate to become an astrologer. So that is also maybe helping me, like it helps you to become a doctor or it helps you to become a lawyer. You have a fate, right? Like that, I might also have a fate. So it might be helping me. But whatever I know, I can teach you, because I still based it upon astrological reasoning and logics in every reading that I give. I don't just like that make a statement. Even when I do a tarot card, I will look very carefully at everything in the tarot card, and I will try to connect everything. Recently, I did a tarot card reading for a student. It was so perfect. It was, although it looked like it was manufactured, that card was designed only to give her the answer. Okay. So
one thing you noticed, Guruji, in your
yeah.
Sorry, Guruji, please continue.
No, like everybody has a fate. An astrologer will have a fate. A lawyer will have a fate. A policeman will have a fate. Everybody will have. And when he does that, he's doing it only because of that. Okay. So I can't explain how that is, because if you feel that I'm not using astrology, that's also wrong. I'm using astrology. But then if you ask me on that day, why did you give up this rule and cling on to this rule? Who taught you that? That I will not be able to explain. Okay. That's the only place where I won't be able to explain.
Sir, you said earlier there is a video for timing of cesarean birth, sir. So if you or anybody else in the group can post a link to that in the WhatsApp group, it will be really helpful.
Yeah, it was a long session, I think. Maybe we students did it, I think. I don't know. It was a very long session. Anybody remembers the title? Okay, I'll find out.
It's on YouTube, sir.
It is on YouTube. Huh? Okay. Anu, if you can locate that, you can share it on the Patreon group, WhatsApp group.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you,
let's.
Guruji.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
we have a lot more to go. Okay. And the class is going very well. We have I can feel each one of you is going to be an astrologer very soon. I can easily guess.
Is there a blessing or a curse, sir?
And then that's a separate problem of even trying to guess whether living itself is a curse. Okay. Then it takes us to a different dimension.
Guruji, we have learned a lot of things in yesterday's and today's class. And I think those points are going to be etched in our memory for a long time, and rather than just reading a book and closing the book and keeping it down, whatever was discussed in yesterday's class, I immediately applied and found it. And today's class, I'm just itching to apply it. And one more thing I observed is that the charts that are on the extreme side, either too good or too bad, they are clearly indicated in the old texts. Whereas the charts that are confusing, they have a lot of confusing outputs, then that is where the astrologer's experience comes in.
Yes.
Guruji, so today we were doing a little bit of thought, and if Saturn is very strong, the person can, and if it's in the 10,000 and a good dignity, then the person can manage many people, right? But what if the Sun is strong? So we were comparing Sun with Saturn. So Saturn can be like managing people, but then if the Sun is strong, then it's more about capital intensive.
Exactly.
Can you say that?
Yeah. Correct. There's a slight difference between Saturn and Sun for that. Saturn would be more about actually benefiting the lower class people. But if you look at the Sun separately, he will be a king and he will be controlling everybody. But Saturn is something like, what shall we say? Maybe Panchayat leader. He'll be with his villagers and he'll be there. and he will take care of all of them in a very nice way. Whereas king is totally different, you know.
Uji, in terms of business, like would it be like managing many people, and sun would be like being the boss? Or
yeah, the boss sitting there and you know, being like that, I am the king, that's a very different thing. Whereas helping everybody, you know, come together and let's work together, that is Saturn actually. We are all together, mass.
But Saturn in 10th in Brugusutram, nothing is there what we discussed, sir.
Okay.
If Saturn is in 10th house, he will bath in the Ganges in his 25th year. He will be stingy and of Billionaire's constitution.
What about people in US? Where will they take bath in Ganges?
They will get Ganges.
No,
and then
I
they
have
will
water,
do.
sir.
No. It is something else. Yeah, it is just no, not like that. It doesn't mean that. See, we do not know what they mean and how do you adapt it to modern times. I've thought about all this a long time. Before the rest of the world, do you think they will not have Saturn in 10th house? And I'm sure 90% will never see Ganges. Okay. So we have to take it with a pinch of salt. Sometimes I feel astrology is like statistics, and whatever they wrote at that time, they connected it to what was possible. Suppose you say, if you have a Rahu Dosham, you go to Kuke Subramaniam. That's because those people there must have told you go there. And now everybody is going there. But so the rules are formed like that. I mean, you all know this story about the tying the cat to the post, you know. I hope you know that story. Do you know that?
No, sir, we don't. I don't know.
Okay, maybe some other time I'll tell you.
Some other time. Yeah. Sir, before you go, just one quick thing. Rahu Jupiter Antardasha, somebody started. I'm confused. Should I say it's a good because Jupiter is a Yokaraka for that Lagna? Antardasha of Jupiter, Rahu's Mahadasha, Scorpio ascendant.
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
So the question was, if Sun was strong, can the person use like tools or like automative tools or AI and all that, and then to run the business? And if Saturn is strong, then they can, be in a business of more labor intensive.
Yeah, correct. The Sun will be more relaxed and he's in command. He will not actually be directly involved with the lower class.
Right. So that means that it will all be like an automated business. They'll be like an automated.
Correct. They can go without their presence and things will work. You're right. They're typical kings. They really don't have to do anything. It will be there. It is based on. Yeah, it is based upon them, but they don't actually sit down and work. They get it because in Naisargika, Sun is the strongest graha and Saturn is the weakest. So it will be more. And they will also be moving with people of their rank. They will be dealing with people of their equals. They will meet in big parties, meetings, and this and that. Whereas the Saturn people, if he is the head of fishermen, he will also be in one of the boats. I'll give you the best example. He'll actually be in one of the boats. Yeah.
Super, Guruji. So the one that has Sun strong, they should not be trying to help somebody who's at very poor. They don't know how to get up, because then it will not work.
It won't work. Yeah. Yeah.
Makes
correct. Sense. Yeah. Okay. So let's come back next Saturday. Okay.
Guruji, in the existing chart, the only thing we did not do, I felt, is that we didn't take Mars as Lagna and study the chart. We didn't take the Rahu as Lagna and study the chart.
I did it.
But we did it indirectly, by referring to Saturn's ninth from the ninth, that idea, and then said there is so much of lack of ninth house thing. Bhavat Bhavam, and then said this was inherited from the parents.
Yes.
Right. So that's very unfortunate.
And
the child started
a lot of planet and moon and sun's nakshatra.
Yeah. And actually, I wanted you to point out that the Jupiter-Saturn opposition. Jupiter-Saturn opposition and conjunction has to be very carefully looked into. It always spells trouble. But in this case, it was one of them is 6th Lord and the other one is a Cancer-causing graha. So that seventh lord, and I think Pavani kept on saying it is double Maraka because of MKS and seventh lordship. So the Saturn Jupiter aspect is also one big indicator. Sridevi said that, is it? Okay. Yeah. So I keep forgetting, mix up with the names. Pardon me for that. Okay. And Soumya said, dread the word imprisonment. It's exactly, she's right. Imprisonment can happen only to less than 0.005 of the public, of the entire population. It's a very rare event, at least in modern times. I don't know how it was in ancient times. And to be imprisoned, surely there must be a lot of things that goes wrong in the horoscope. Okay, let's come back. Again, Saturday, rocket launch.
Thank you, Guruji.
I'm itching to see the last week's video, Guruji.
What happened? Why?
I missed it, Guruji. The message, there was a problem with the email. I think
no, it's already there. It's already there in Patreon.
Yeah. I mean, I missed the live session.
Oh, live session. Okay.
Live session carries more energy.
Okay.
Good night. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for wonderful chats.
Do we put on Patreon? Sir, the Friday session, do we put on Patreon?
It is always there on in Patreon.
Patreon is like the mother of all things. It has everything in it.
Yeah, because of the word P sound and PRR. Patreon. Yeah, pra sound is there.
And sir winning blue things. All that.
No, after my Saturn Mahadasha started, I started picking up more of the blue from my wardrobe. All these shirts are very old, and I don't wear them at all. I always wear white. And so suddenly of late, I started liking blue. I don't know.
A little bit old video, even Sadhguru was saying don't wear black.
Yeah?
Sadhguru was also saying don't wear black.
No, this is not black. This is not black. This is blue.
No, I'm not. I'm saying in the previous discussion we had, right? We should not wear black, you said.
Correct. Yeah, suddenly Jaggi was there, said that. Correct.
Yes.
So I'm sure he will soon start talking about astrology. I'm doubting. Because once he said never put your head to the north. That is a Vastu rule. Let's wait.
Sure, Guruji. T minus 3, 2, 1, 0.
Thank you, Prahlad.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, students. You did a great job. Okay.
Thank you,
We'll
Guruji.
meet again. Yes.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheena. Thank you, everyone.